Having already edited a project, all of you are going to be pretty familiar with the project panel and how it organizes your media. But there's actually a lot more to it than you may know in terms of ways to organize things and find things. So in this video, we're going to go a lot deeper into the project panel and what it's capable of. So go ahead and bring your mouse up to the top of the project panel and click on the little hamburger menu that you see there. There's a little box with 3 lines. And in here, it gives you a lot more options. If you look down here, kind of towards the bottom, there's a few options here that you may find useful. If they're checked, it means they're active. If they aren't checked, it means they aren't active. But go ahead and click on the one that says Preview Area. It'll pop up and give me this little video player. And if I come down here and click on one of my clips, I now have the ability to play the clip right here in my project window. If I prefer list view, but still want that preview, I can scrub through the clip. And it'll also give me all the information about that clip. So instead of having to scroll all the way over to find my frame size and frame rate and duration and things like that, I can now just click on that clip and it'll pop up here in my preview area, and I can see its title, I can see its frame size, its duration, its frame rate, etc., etc. Same thing with still images too, or graphics, right? I can click on the still image, it gives me the frame size and duration. So it's not something I actually use a lot, but if you find it useful, that option is there. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for now, though. There are also lots of ways to search for and find your clips in Premiere. Each of these columns is actually sortable. So this little arrow here means that right now my clips are organized by frame rate. So on my stills, since there is no frame rate because it's just a still image, it's popping up on top, and then underneath, all my other clips of video were shot at 25 frames per second, so all of them are showing up in really a random order. If I come over here to name, it's now organizing my clips by their name, right? And I can organize alphabetically in order or alphabetically in reverse, depending on what I'm looking for and what's helpful. I can also organize by time code. So if I organize by media start, it'll actually organize all my clips by time code, which means that the project panel is showing me my clips in the order that I shot them on set. If you shoot your film in chronological order, and it's easiest for you after you subclip to look at the clips in chronological order as opposed to by name, this can be a very useful way to do that. You can also sort by duration, or really anything over here. All you have to do is click on that clip and it will sort everything in the project panel by that value. I'm going to go ahead and continue to sort by name, though, because now that all our clips are labeled, it becomes very easy to find things based on their name alphabetically. Premiere also has this search function, which is not that useful when you're importing things straight from the camera and things are named with random labels. But now that everything is actually named by us through our subclipping process, suddenly everything in our project window is now searchable. So if I know I'm looking for just clips of John, I can actually come up here and type in John, and because John is in the name of all these clips, that's what pops up. If I know I'm looking for a close-up, I can just type CU and it'll show me only all the close-ups. One thing you do have to be careful about when you're using this search box, though, is how it filters things. It'll only show you what you're searching for, and a lot of times people forget that they have a term typed into that box, and so they'll freak out when they can't find something or it's not showing up in the project window anymore because that search term is there. So after you search for something, just click on that little X and it'll clear the search term and you'll be able to see all your clips again. I'm going to go ahead and expand out my project window a little bit to make things easier to see. There are a couple of other ways to keep organized in your project window, and one of them is using labels. So over here on the left, you'll see all these different colors next to each item. If I right click on a clip and go to label, I can actually change the color of that clip, and you can use these based on shot type or based on scene or however you really want. By default, it kind of makes all video clips blue, It makes bins orange. It makes sequences green. But that's not hard and fast. You can change it however you want. So if you right click and go to label, it'll give you all these colors. Unfortunately, these colors are kind of hard to read because they decided to use incredibly arbitrary names. Like instead of red, it's rose, and instead of orange, it's mango. But it still gives you an idea of what those colors are. Something else that's cool about these is that it's not only changing the color of the clip in the project window, but also on the timeline. So if I drag this clip over, you can see it's colored blue, but if I drag this other one that has been labeled purple, it will be purple on the timeline. So these labels can be a convenient way to start to organize your timeline by scene. If one scene is blue and one scene is purple and one scene is orange, you can really visually see on your timeline how clips are organized and what clips belong to what scene. So it definitely is convenient that it's not only represented in your project window, but on your timeline as well. Last thing I want to show you in terms of organizing things in our timeline is bins. I've already talked about bins a little bit in terms of importing. A bin is like a folder in Premiere. So if you import an entire folder from Finder into the project, it'll already pop up as a bin. You also have the ability to create a new bin in Premiere. That's this button down here, right? It says new bin. There's also a keyboard shortcut to create a new bin. That's Command B. If you hit Command B, it'll create a bin, and then I can give that bin a name. So I'm going to call this one Scene 1. And then I can organize my clips into that bin as I see fit. I can click on all my close-ups or on all my clips in general and just take them and put them in that bin. And now when I collapse it, it cleans up my project window a little bit more, keeps me a little bit more organized. So if I'm working on a specific scene, I don't need to always see all of my clips at once. And I'm not, searching and sifting through, 1,000 clips when I'm only working on a scene that has like 15. A couple other ways you can create bins. Let's say I want all my medium shots to be in a bin. I can highlight all of them, and then I can drag it onto the new bin icon, and it'll automatically create a bin and put all the clips in there, and then I can call that a bin medium. And that way I know, okay, all my medium shots are in this bin. So go ahead and organize all the kinds of media you have into correct bins. So put all your video clips into one bin, put your PSDs into one bin, and that'll keep things a little bit more organized. So I've gone ahead and created a bin for each of my different types of media. I put all my clips of video into a video bin. I put my sequence into a sequences bin. In case I have multiple sequences I'm working with in one project, I can just keep them all there, and I put all my graphics into a graphics bin. So this really keeps everything very organized. Everything is still searchable and all that. It just makes my project window not look like a cluttered mess, which personally gives me peace of mind. One thing you might want to do is change the name of a clip or a bin in Premiere. Once you've already named it, let's say I don't want this to be called Copy a Bright Love Film Logo AI. To change the name of a clip in Premiere or a bin or anything in the project window, click on it and then click on it again. It's not a double click because the double click will open it up in the source window. So if I double click quickly on this clip, it opens in the source window. But if I click on a clip and then click on it again slower, it'll open up the renaming function. Then I can call this title, or something. When you change the name of an item in the project panel, it's only changing it in the editor. It's not changing it on the actual computer. So the original file name is still the same. It's only changing what it's called in Premiere. Alright, that's it for the project window for now. In the next video, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into some functionality in our source window.